follow. And those who make sacrifices today will reap the rewards of tomorrow.
You could say that was a bit chilling.
Hey, that really sucked!
Okay. Horrible puns aside, if you've been out of the loop on what Frostpunk is, then I only have one thing to tell you. That you value your sanity, and I am proud of you. But for those masochists who just want to watch the world burn, or in this case freeze, enjoy. So, let me set the stage for you. You are building one of the last cities on Earth. Albeit there are others like Winterholm and Tesla City, but we don't exactly talk about them here. Frospunk is set in a time before civilization, simply known as the Victorian era, where in the beginning of the game, you start with barely any resources, a generator, and with the only source of available manpower, a race of subhuman troglodytes known as British people.
Oi, what's all this about us British people, lad? And where's me rent?
I know. However, sacrifices must be made to survive. So, it took me nearly 30 hours of trial and error to actually beat the damn game. Then I took my shot on hard, and let's just say it did not end well. This game is a literal race against time. You always have to be thinking what resources you have to prioritize. Albeit wood, steel, steam cores, while managing the rising discontent and falling hope, while trying to deal with the worsening weather conditions. You also have to build up a city from the ground up and stockpile enough food and coal to withstand the coming storm. So yeah, let's just say it took me another 20 hours of my life in order to get the infrastructure needed and running. You are forced to make a lot of hard ethical choices. For example, would you rather care for the gravely ill, but leave them untreated and wasting valuable space and food? Or would you rather risk it with radical treatment, but leave them so disabled that a person with late-stage polio would seem like an Olympic runner to them? But technically the Olympics was never founded, so I guess they never knew what, or they never will know what the Olympics is. So you can either get child labor, which basically doubles your workforce, but hope will fall. But on the bright side, we will have a more diverse workforce. Or you can get child shelters, which for a minuscule bonus to either research or healing speed and a bit of hope. Sawdust in the food, which means more food but the chances of falling sick are increased. Or soup, which both increases discontent, extra rations for the ill, or overcrowding. It's more of a you can than will you. Like, you can make people recover faster, but you would be using valuable food rations. Or would you rather have more beds at little to no cost? Would you honor the dead or rather treat them as resources? The decisions you make will shape the future in which you must choose. Will your vision be based around order and discipline, or faith and spiritual strength? Houses of faith or guard stations, evening prayers or morning gatherings, field kitchens or foremen, righteous denunciation or propaganda centers, faith keepers or forceful persuasion, pledges of loyalty or houses of healing. Decisions. Every choice you make has an effect on your playthrough, and it will test your own morality against you. Now, I want you to remember this line by Cassandra Clare. In the end, that was not the choice you made, and it doesn't matter, no matter how hard it was to make. It matters that you did. Remember that, huh? For it will be a constant theme throughout Frostpunk and possibly the sequel when it comes out, because honestly, the right decision is never always the best decision. That's basically what I'm trying to say here. Now, added to that, I pretty much need to emphasize that the music design is phenomenal.
Piotr Musiał.
You, sir, are a musical deity. Music is always an integral part of games, albeit for entirely different purposes. Now back to Frostpunk. You have this feeling of, how do I put this, hopelessness and despair, the sensation of dread, the mind-numbing thought that your existence means nothing, and that we were all doomed from the start, and everything that you have done was for nothing. But then you get a track like this. It is a near complete contrast to the other music. It has a livelier beat yet still depressing undertone. It says that there's still doubt in them, yet they will still stand defined. If I can summarize this OST, then I'll be paraphrasing a quote from the film Independence Day. Good movie, by the way. But as a day we declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We are going to live on. We are going to survive. Not as exact quote, but you kind of get the idea of what I'm trying to go for. It's like they know their chances of surviving are like a snowball's chance in hell, but they still soldier on. And it's reflected in an event in-game in which normally when you commit to an emergency shift, people start to be upset, but instead people are optimistic and are willing to go all in and are willing to see it through to the end because you, the player, have given them something to hope for, to give them something worth fighting for, and it is reflected in the in-game events. For example, the crying man in the temple. It is when you build the temple and you basically start restoring faith in them. You see? And we also have the father begging for a slug to find his daughter, and him finding his daughter, by the way, in like the end stages, which is honestly kind of cute. Also, I hope you did enjoy the art by Mabo Waffle. So on and so forth. I could literally go on into a tangent on each OST and break it down from what they mean or what they represent, but I'll leave that to you. You listen to this game's OST and I can guarantee you will love it. You can feel each emotion behind these masterpieces of music, but to summarize the music in one word: eargasm. Perfect. It's like, check this out. I did not edit this clip, I just moved my screen around. Now that is some good stuff. Now let's talk a bit about the art style. Now it is something. The lack of vibrant colors shows the depressing situation that the people in Frostpunk find themselves in. It allows you to immerse yourselves with the world and the rundown look of the buildings, the ramshackle design of it. Normally, colors are used to convey feelings or the state of the surroundings. Given how the literal rags on their bodies, it shows the decrepit state the people of Frostpunk find themselves in which shows a hue of either brown or gray, with brown representing the feeling of isolation, but also shows the strength that they need to carry on, while gray represents the dullness of the situation because it is kind of dull, like the lack of vibrant colors, the dullness of the city. Like, have you seen the cities? They're fucking dull as shit. Now, contrary to the colors of the generator, it is yellow. It signals the warmth that many turn to stay alive. While, get this, the colors of the mine and thumpers are red, in which represents the most vital part in your city. It represents the blood flowing through New London, while the generator is the beating heart of the city. It cannot function without sufficient blood, i.e. coal. Well, if you run out of coal, well, just like if you run out of blood, I guess I'll just die. Because I like to think of the city as the human body. While the generator is the beating heart, the people are like the cells of the body, droning on with the task at hand at keeping the body, i.e. the city, alive. Or I could be wrong and I'm just talking out of my ass, but it is an interesting thought, yes? Now, a good game needs a good story. Well, Frostpunk, how do I put this? It has a good story, but unused story potential. Honestly, they could have done so much more with this game. Example, after building the main city, I could have gone out and built another city. There could have been more things done here, especially on the higher difficulties. I get it, it's called Frostpunk, the last city on Earth for a reason, not Frostpunk Skylines. Jokes aside, I am serious about it. Like, for example, in the normal difficulty, you get your standard vanilla playthrough. And maybe in the harder difficulties, there are like these events that specifically made on the higher difficulties. Example, being a hunter gets lost. Do you try to find him, but the time that would have been used hunting was used instead in finding him. Leave him because gathering food is more important. He can find his own way back. 50-50, the hunter dies. Send half of the party to find him and continue hunting. You only get half of the food from a normal day worth of food. Anyway, you know what I mean when I say this. Like, I came up with this while watching Stampy Longhead in the background. While I'm typing this now actually. Now, imagine the many stories they could have told through this format. Now look, I know Frostpunk by itself, with the story, the world building, the music, all of it, there is no denying that it is a damn well good made game. Just some heavily missed opportunities. Or I could be wrong, and I'm just nitpicking on something from a technical standpoint, does not need any major improvements. Well, maybe except on the difficulty, because I genuinely don't like how it stands, mainly from a number standpoint, because it's artificial difficulty. It's kind of like survival mode in Fallout 4, where it's purely a numbers games, but I digress. See, I already played through the main campaign multiple times at this point, me nearing 200 hours. I would say it's time well spent to learn about the intricacies of steam hub management and coal preservation, and the management of heat zones so that they don't overlap. It is a joy to learn, and after beating the main scenario a couple of times, I went on to play the other scenarios. While most of the scenarios are well thought out, with their own interesting mechanics and gimmicks. Oh my god, what the hell is that? No, get that thing away from me. Ew, 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 ew. I'll pretend I never saw that abomination. They did my boy, the captain, dirty. Like, Winterhome can be explained, but this, ugh, god, why? Why does this even exist? Anyway, with that eyesore out of sight, you may now ask yourself, is Frostpunk worth it? Yes, I highly suggest you buy it. It is definitely challenging, and I can guarantee that you will like it or your money back. Guaranteed. Hell, I'll even suck your dick. Anyway, here is a list of pros and cons I can think of. Now, how do I rate this? Frostpunk. Story was amazing, execution was meh, 6.9 out of 10. Setting and atmosphere. The world building and the idea is unique behind it, and good execution, so 9 out of 10. Music and sound design. Now, my overall enjoyment. If I had to choose between masturbating with sandpaper or playing Frostpunk, I would obviously choose Frostpunk, but no, what did you think I was some sort of masochist who fucking likes jacking up with sandpaper? Nah, I ain't into that. Okay, jokes aside again, for it soars through the air with a score of 11/9. And with that, I conclude this video. I want to personally thank you all for making it to the end of the video, and yeah, listening to my very cringy way of putting things, because I had a lot of fun editing this. I had a lot of fun with the boys who helped me make this. And I love pissing the crap out of people, even in the Discord, by constantly pinging them. Anyway, here are some special shoutouts to my boy Waffle, to Locke, and everyone in my Discord that gave feedback and helped me create this stuff. Quality content, well, is a team effort, to say the least. And with that, I end this on a note. And that is why Frostpunk is such
an epic game.